Everyone knows that romance fiction is a huge market. However, what most people find challenging is actually sitting down to write about it. It makes sense. I mean, who understands love and how it works? How do you write about something that is so cryptic? Or even if you're one of those people who feel you are a master of love, a doctorate of romance, how do you succinctly craft a written journey that takes a reader through that excitement of romance? There's lots of formulas for romance, both when it comes to writing and real life love, and that is why they say don't hate the player, hate the game. There are so many ways to go about it and keep men and women, boys and girls guessing. I'm not particularly fond of the players, but I mean it's a love-hate relationship because, well, you all know we all need love, but maybe more importantly, what you really aren't liking is the game of trying to break into this lucrative market of romance fiction. Well, I have taken my formula for writing romance and I have capsulated it into this software. It will help anyone, no matter what their level of experience, craft a solid plot and mind map of a romantic fiction story. This mind map can be sent to an outsourcer to actually do the grunt work of the writing, or you could use it to write your own novel, short story, or whatever. I have basically broken down all the elements of a solid romance into a series of questions that you answer however you want to create the momentum and storytelling so that you could take anyone through a hot, steamy romantic relationship that people will get drawn into and want to read. So check it out. This is how it works. This is Mindmap Master. And all you have to do is go down over here. You can see that there's several projects that I've already created, some mind maps that I've created, and I can pull up, from one of my projects, the PDF that results after answering all of the questions. It gives me my characters, who my characters are, the background of the character so that I can kind of paint a picture of who Laura Scott is and who is Frank and what does he look like and how did they meet. And then it takes you through the series and the steps of the story so that when you sit down to actually write, you have a roadmap or a mind map of exactly how you are going to get to that point where they live happily ever after. So let me show you the questions here and how the questions work. Basically, you open this up. There is a series, in total, 35 questions that you answer in order to get to that PDF that I just shared with you. So it starts with what is our heroine's first name, last name. We can just start entering in the information here so that you could see how fast it is to actually produce that PDF that I just showed you. Okay, so we're just going to come up with any random name. Let's see, our heroine's first name, her name is Nicole. Last name is Montgomery, and I'm just making this up off the top of my head. What city is she from? I'm going to say she is from Las Vegas. How long has she lived in Las Vegas? Let's say 5 years. How many siblings does she have? I'm going to say she has one sister. What color are her eyes? I'm going to give her hazel eyes. What color is her hair? Let's give her blonde hair. What style is her hair? Long and wavy. What is her zodiac sign? Zodiac sign. Let's make her a Leo. What is her favorite color? And these questions, the first page, you can see right here, the first page, we're just kind of building the heroine profile. The first step is to paint the picture of who the heroine is in our story. You can either answer the questions with your own responses. There's a total of 20 questions here, and these 20 questions are going to paint the picture of who this woman is that we're just crafting, this character. Her favorite color, red. Does she have a pet? She has a black cat. What's one of her hobbies? She likes to garden. What's another one of her hobbies? Cooking. What makes her feel good about life? She is a philanthropist and likes to support the various causes that she feels really good about. What is her sense of style? She likes to shop at the Gap and dresses comfortably yet fashionably. How many pairs of shoes does she own? Just 4. What color are most of those shoes? Khaki. Is that a color? Let's say brown. What upsets her? Small-mindedness from people who try to crush her dreams. Let's say she has some unique dreams. I don't know quite what they are yet, but these questions are going to help guide me to define what that is. What is her weakness? Since she likes to donate money a lot, she often finds herself struggling financially. Now, this is a lot of what I'm saying here. I didn't even really know that that's who she is. These questions are sort of prompting me to produce this image of who this woman is, Nicole. Something interesting about our heroine's romantic past. Let's say she was in a 7-year relationship many years ago. Her ex and her are still friends and speak to each other from time to time, and she is apprehensive about getting into a new relationship because of her old one not quite working out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and submit that. Now we get to step 2, and we're going to define who our hero is. And this is going to be a total of 9 questions. And we are going to just go through and let's just make his name Tom. His last name can be, what's the last name? Smith. We can go back and change these if we want to. Let's give him brown eyes. His hair can be also brown, short and well-kept hair. What is his zodiac sign? We made her a Leo, so let's make him a Gemini so that they can be somewhat compatible. And if you're one of those people that know signs, that kind of helps you paint the picture of what their personality is like as well. What are his hobbies? He likes to breed dogs. Does he have a pet? Well, if he breeds dogs, then he has, let's say he has 3 dogs, rescue dogs. So let's see now, how did they meet? Let's say that one of the organizations that she supports is a local shelter, and one day she ran into him while stopping by to visit the animals and drop off a check for her monthly donation. He happened to be there at the same time, and they caught each other's eye. All right, now this is the last step. We have 6 questions over here. Now that we have enough details to visualize who both of these people are, the third step is to construct the plot in our story. So this is sort of where the fun part of our storytelling comes in. So the first thing it asks us to do is define what happens in the story that's going to keep our hero and heroine apart. What is that sort of point of conflict? So we can say that, and I'm just kind of making this up off the top of my head, she works at a newspaper, and it is the same company that she has worked for over many years. They are looking to transfer her to another city as a promotion, which would mean that she would be too far away to pursue a relationship with our hero. Okay, so then prior to that twist, we're going to work backwards now. Right after our hero and heroine meet, something causes our hero to pull away from interacting with her. So what could that be? This avoidance happens before the above conflict is revealed. However, it could be something that leads up to it. So let's say, we know that he has a love for dogs, he breeds dogs. She works at a newspaper. The newspaper is looking to transfer her, but as a reader, we don't quite know that yet. Let's say that the newspaper is writing a story about the shelter that she donates money to, and we find out that he actually owns the shelter. So within all the factors involved, it looks like a conflict of interest to engage in a romantic affair. Okay, so then the heroine does something out of character in response to that retraction to attempt to gain his attention. So he's basically not talking to her anymore, or just trying to avoid her because he really wants this story or this piece to publish. It's probably going to have some positive effect for his shelter. And she obviously is very committed to her job, so maybe the thing that she does out of character is she, in order to gain his attention, is, maybe she's the contact person for the story too. So she calls him about the piece and hints that she may be leaving her job soon and would like to maintain contact with him, perhaps to chat about how she can get more involved with the shelter, either by touring or otherwise. Now we look at the element that is potentially keeping the two apart, which is, her working at the newspaper and the story, the piece that's coming out. There's some deep understanding that occurs as a result of this conflict. So what is that misunderstanding? So every romance has to have, or every romance story, there's a misunderstanding that occurs that kind of makes us as readers root for one or the other, or the misunderstanding becoming clarified. So what is that misunderstanding? So let's say that that misunderstanding is somehow in that conversation he took it to mean when she said she was leaving that the piece may not publish. He was really frustrated with that, and he took his frustrations out on her. And there might be reasons why he really wants this piece to publish. Maybe there's some sort of uh, financial incentive to him getting that exposure in the paper, or we can kind of explore that once we actually sit down to write the story. Right now we're just trying to get a rough framework. How is this misunderstanding clarified? She interviews him, and the piece is published, and it is a very favorable piece for the shelter. What is that happily ever after moment that happens between them? So maybe what happens is she decides not to take the promotion. She quits her job, and her and him, they work at the shelter together with all the dogs and have this wonderful moment of love and dogs and everything else. So let's say she quits her job to work at the shelter full time, and they work together. They decide to get romantically involved, and everyone is happy. Okay. Our working title for the project, so this is just so that we can tell which mind map this is when we're looking at all of the mind maps. So we can say newspaper shelter story. So then I'm going to know what that is by looking at that. And then here is our mind map. So now we have a mind map here that's going to take us through all the steps of what we need to write, the order that we need to write it in. We write about the hero, the heroine, the hero, how they meet, how he kind of pulls away from her, how she responds, the conflict, the deep misunderstanding that occurs between them, and how it's clarified, and how they end up living happily ever after. And we get to the end of our story just in several steps that we can see mapped out. So then when we go to sit down and write, or guide our outsourcer to write the story for us, we can kind of lay out exactly what we want the story to be. So this is how we can effectively produce many titles, many stories, just based off of however vivid your imagination could be. So here we are. Take a look, check it out, check out my software. And as always, if you have any questions, reach out to me and let me know. My email address is at the bottom of this page. Thank you very much.